Now, next one. This person asks this question. So this is another difficult one, right? Yeah, and very often adults feel that we don't need to attend teens Q&A. So a group of young teenagers came up, or young adults came up and asked. Turn to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. All right, let's read together. All right, verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. So the person asks, well, from the context, verse 13, for Adam was first formed and then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing. So the person asks, does it mean that childbearing was designed to save Eve? Because Eve is willing to bear children, then she got saved. She can be saved. So what does it mean? It sounds like it is that. So a few persons asked me, what does this mean? Because we are covering about this topic in the earlier verses. So maybe I ask, what does it mean? What does it mean? Let me try and ask Michelle. Don't know. The singles. If you don't get married, you don't bear children, you cannot be saved. Some people say, how? How do you interpret that? Shane. Oh, so difficult. Okay, last one. Sing Yun. Your mistake, you looked up at me. It has to do with Genesis 3:15 for sure. Let us turn there. Because from the context, Adam was not deceived, it was in a transgression. It's already telling you about Genesis 3:15. Let's turn to Genesis 3:15. All right. I'm looking at Exodus. Let us read together. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, so definitely is referring to this portion of scripture, because the context in 1 Timothy chapter 2 already preceded and prefaced with this Adam and Eve's fall. So what it means is this. Now, is it about Eve bearing children and then she is saved? Now, it's a bit difficult to understand without seeing the Greek text. All right, in 1 Timothy chapter 2, although it says, and she shall be saved in childbearing. Now, often in the English language, the Greek article, the, is not translated. All right, the. So in here, in the original Greek text, it is referring to a specific childbearing. It is in Greek the childbearing. Which the childbearing? So it refers to all the way back to the fall, and for salvation to be saved, for a person to be saved, God did talk about that in the beginning. When Adam and Eve fall, God referred to a very specific childbearing. What is that specific childbearing? I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Now this is when God was talking to the serpent. And which seed is this? It's a singular seed, very specific one. And it shall bruise thy head, thou shalt bruise his heel. Obviously it's about Jesus Christ's birth. Alright, so this verse saying, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in the childbearing, is talking about there will be a specific. Now if Eve did not bear children, then there will be no further childbirth. that will eventually lead to the specific virgin birth, correct? Correct? So she disobey God. Well, we are married, but I do not want to have children. I do not want children. Then the specific virgin birth will not occur. So here, all God is saying is, He is not saying, now if women bear children, they can be saved. The context says this. The context is about women keeping silent in the church, correct? In fact, that is why after the Bible study, you all came up to ask me this verse. Women keeping silence in the church, men are supposed to lead in church. Men are supposed to lead public prayer in church. Now, and what he's saying is this. I have just told you that women must subject themselves to men in the church. Men are supposed to be the leaders, the head in the church. But do not think that man is superior to the woman, because in salvation, because of that specific birth, in salvation, both men and women can be saved. And she shall be saved in childbirth if they continue in faith. So please know, men, do not think that you are so special just because I just addressed women must keep silence in the church and you are superior. No. They, like you, are saved by that specific childbirth. They, like you, if you and them have genuine faith, they are also saved. In God's eyes, when He said, I will send my Son to die for you, God was thinking of the woman as well. Just because the woman was deceived doesn't mean God says, because of you Adam fell, I'm not going to save woman. So God is reminding the church that it is a role, a model that He has nothing to do with superiority, but in the eyes of God, both men and women are valuable. If both men and women continue in genuine faith, and their faith is proven by works in their life, charity and holiness and sobriety, they are saved. So don't think that just because men, only you can be saved in the church. Alright? If they have genuine faith, the woman, just like you, they are saved. Alright? So it simply means that. So please don't interpret it as singles cannot be saved then, because they don't bear children. Obviously, it's not that. Clear? Alright? It's about a specific birth. What do we have here? Top 5 reasons why church dropouts, what church dropouts say, why they stop attending church. Now please remember 66% of, well, I take the American view, they are the most readily available results, they stop attending church at least a year after turning 18. So from